Hello, I'm Will with NYY Eye Test Baseball. This is the channel recapping and reacting to Yankees games with the emphasis being on the eye test. Today is the 15th of September 2024. Yankees just finished a 4-game set against the Red Sox at Yankee Stadium, and they win this one 5-2 and then therefore take the series 3-1. Overall, a pretty well-pitched series from the Yankees. Not a ton of offense, but a pretty good series overall. I think we've got to start off with Carlos Rodon in this one. 5 innings, 5 1/3 innings, a couple of runs given up, a few strikeouts, 1 home run. I think overall he pitched pretty well, and I think I'd be pretty pleased with this outing. With a Rodon start, you're always trying to gauge. The first thing you're trying to gauge is how that fastball is playing, because he throws it a ton. It has to be good. If it's not good, he's probably going to struggle. But today, it was pretty good, right? The swings against his fastball weren't great. Besides the home run, overall, they weren't great. That's key. I think one thing I liked was I saw a few fastballs low in the strike zone. And I think when he varies fastball location, that makes him that much better. I think there's a false idea that just because a fastball's up in the strike zone, it makes it a good pitch. It's also critical against really good major league hitters. You have to vary that location. A low fastball can be very effective as well. I think all the best pitchers you'll see are going to vary that fastball location to different hitters. I think he needs to do that more. His slider also really impressed me today. Over that period of time where he was struggling, that stretch where he had a 9+ ERA, that slider to me was severely lacking. For some reason, out of the hands, hitters could pick it up, and it was getting hammered. Even when it was low in the strike zone, that pitch was really getting hit hard. Today, a lot sharper. I don't know if they've changed the grip slightly. Maybe he's just tinkered with that a little bit, with the grip slightly, or just he's tried to hide that pitch a little bit better. But for whatever reason, the slider looks a lot sharper, low in the strike zone. And that pitch is critical because once he gets that pitch low in the strike zone, he's able to set it up low. He's going to be able to throw that pitch, first of all, low in the zone for strikes, and then get guys to chase off of that. It makes that fastball that much better, and it offers some extra protection to his fastball, which when his slider isn't working, his fastball can become quite vulnerable. The slider was sharp today. That's a great sign for him. I thought that he also mixed in a few good off-speed pitches right early in the count, and against a few specific hitters, I thought had a great game plan. I wrote down here Trevor Story. And a few at-bats against Trevor Story, a lot of off-speed pitches, a good specialized approach against Story that actually worked really well. And so I think that's something that is also very encouraging. If he can use a specialized approach to some of the guys that may be really good fastball hitters, have a different game plan, vary your game plan a little bit, throw a few more off-speed pitches. I think some guys can get into trouble when they have maybe a little bit too much ego, and are just hell bent on throwing fastballs to guys that can really hit fastballs, or throwing a certain pitch type to guys that may hit that pitch really well. I think it's also important to be able to vary your approach. I thought Rodon did that pretty well. So overall, I'd say an encouraging start. It's important for him to pick up some momentum before postseason. The worst thing you want to do is to be struggling heading into postseason, because in the postseason you're going to be facing the best hitters out there. You have to have some momentum. You have to have some confidence going in. That's critical. And so positive signs here for Carlos. From the bullpen, I think the standout has to be Tim Hill. I thought he pitched exceptionally well. And he's somebody that when the Yankees acquired him, I thought he'd be eating up a few innings. There were concerns about him. I was a little bit skeptical, because he's somebody that can be quite predictable with location, right? He'll throw that sinker a lot down and away to righties, and he'll get hit because guys can kind of anticipate the location, he'll give up his fair share of hits. But what we've also seen besides that, and I think that's still true, he still can be a little bit predictable, but he varies his pitches from time to time as well, which is important. But what we also see, he doesn't give up much slug, actually very little slug, 60 innings, 2 home runs. He doesn't really walk many guys. He actually has really good control for the way he throws, and actually just really good control overall. And so he's been able to work around some of those base hits, been able to strand some runners or induce some important double plays. So excellent from Tim Hill. I've been very impressed by him so far. Holmes, Hamilton's slider was good today. Holmes still a little bit inconsistent. Only saw 5 pitches from him today. A good slider, but then and a good sinker to strike out O'Neill, but then a not so good sinker. A sinker that kind of just runs rather than sinks against Wong. Again, with Holmes, it's all about that sinker. How consistent he can throw that pitch. Can he consistently get that good sink to it, not just a pitch that just runs? If his sinker just runs, he's going to be in some trouble. But if it sinks and has that great tumbling action to it, he's going to be in business, similar to Zach Britton. But it's quite hard to control. This year, we just haven't seen him be very consistent with that pitch, with the sinker. His slider almost always has been there. His slider and sweeper have almost always been there. But the problem is, against lefties, he needs that sinker, right? That's the pitch that moves away from the left-handed hitters. Very important. He has that sinker against the lefties. And when it's not so good, lefties can really punish him. Looking at some of the hitters for the Yankees today, I think the leadoff role I'm actually very impressed with Torres in the leadoff role. I think the leadoff role really suits him. And I think it allows him just to not do too much. I think he sometimes tries to do a little bit too much, tries to drive in a bunch of runs all the time. And I think being in the leadoff role, just trying to get on base, right? Trying to combine some of the small ball with his power hitting, I think makes him a much better player. It allows him to have it higher on base. And I think critically, it allows him to actually, I think, being in this role has helped him utilize right field. He isn't a guy who hits the ball extremely hard, but he benefits tremendously from the short porch in right field. That's where his power is. That's where he can really do some damage because he's able to drive the ball the other way. Doesn't hit it particularly deep or very hard, but he's able to just get enough of it to hit home runs. And I felt like in a lot of this year, he's kind of gone away from that. And so I think being in that leadoff position, trying to get on base in front of Soto and Judge, allows him just to have a better approach and just to not try to do too much. I think that's been key. I really like what I'm seeing from Torres in the leadoff position. If he can get on base at a decent rate for Soto and Judge, all of a sudden your offense becomes that much more dangerous because you've got men on base. You can potentially have 2 men on base for Aaron Judge, right? And that's absolutely critical. That takes pressure off of Judge, right? Guys have to pitch to him, and all of a sudden Judge is going to get more pitches to hit. So impressive from Torres today. Soto still struggling a little bit, definitely. I think one of the things from Soto we've seen is he's struggled a lot with off-speed pitches, especially with some splitters, change-ups off the plate, away, down and away. He's struggled with that pitch. That's been a pitch because of his swing. When he's hitting well, he can get to. He can stay on that pitch. He's not flailing way out in front of that pitch. He's able to stay on that pitch because of his long bat path. He's been getting away from that a little bit. We've seen him off balance a lot with those changeups. He's not been able to be able to cover that pitch. And therefore, even when he's gotten to good counts, he's got some of those pitches to hit. He's not been able to capitalize, and all of a sudden, a 2-1 count becomes 2-2, and then you're kind of battling and struggling. So hopefully you want to see him be able to start to hit some of those pitches, those off-speed pitches down and away. Because when he does that, when he uses the whole field, he becomes so much of a better player. He's a hitter that goes to all parts of the field. That's his strong suit. I don't think he should shy away from that or try to just force the ball to right field, even with the short porch, right? I think when he plays his natural game, using the whole field, I think that's when he's at his best. Judge, from yesterday's at-bats, he looked really good yesterday. Today, quality at-bats as well, really quality, in fact. He had missed a few hanging pitches, but very dangerous swing. Just kind of missed a few pitches. The swing looks a lot better. Balance, just a lot better overall. So, again, and this is such an encouraging sign as well. I really want to see Aaron Judge going to the postseason on a bit of a hot streak. That, I think, in a short series, I think that's going to carry over, and that's going to allow him to have a big series, which the Yankees absolutely need him to have in the playoffs. So encouraging signs that Judge is starting to find some rhythm and find his swing again. Stanton, I thought, hit the ball pretty well today. I thought he had some quality at bats today, actually. He was starting to pick up the ball a lot better. A lot of positive signs for Stanton today. I think the other noteworthy guy, the other noteworthy player for the Yankees is Anthony Volpe. And Volpe, not so good. Not so good. The other end of the spectrum, not so good today from Volpe. I think for Anthony, he's just really struggled for any sort of consistency. I think when he's been able to hit well, when he's a hot hitter, his approach is fantastic. He uses right field really, really well. He can get the inside pitches, be able to pull, hard pitches inside really, really well. He's got great plate coverage all over the plate. But when he's struggling, it can look really, really bad. He looks far too over-aggressive, chasing pitches, up and in, struggling to get the barrel of the bat to those inside pitches. Then he's trying to overcompensate with those away pitches that make him chase further off the plate, to sliders away. And then we saw in that last at-bat against Guerrero, right? He was just guessing. He was kind of guessing. He was in between. He couldn't really figure out if that pitch was going to be in the zone or off the plate. He couldn't really recognize and pick up the pitch, and he kind of was caught in between, right? Really indecisive, and when a hitter's indecisive, that's not a great sign because you have very little reaction time. You have to make a decision quickly. If you're indecisive, chances are you're going to get beaten. And so we just haven't seen Volpe be consistent enough. I don't know he's really quite wildly inconsistent, I'd say. When he's going well, everything looks really good. But when it's not, when things are going poorly, he looks really, really bad. I don't know if it's mental, it's mechanical, he gets into his own head a little bit. But I just hope that we can see a bit more consistency from Volpe going forward. I thought that the Yankees a little bit better in terms of rhythm of the offense today versus yesterday. I thought they attacked the fastballs really well from Kutter Crawford. I thought that was clearly an approach by the Yankees, the game plan probably. They really put some good swings on Kutter Crawford's fastball. They look to pounce as well. I think sometimes the Yankees, they get into some trouble when they're a little bit too passive. When they let the pitchers just kind of dictate counts a little bit, rather than trying to attempt to put the pressure back on the pitcher, trying to ambush the pitcher a little bit. But I thought the Yankees, overall, the approach was really pretty good against Kutter Crawford and built up a few rallies, had a little bit of momentum, bit of rhythm going on. When they saw that fastball, trying to attack that. And they had some really good swings on his fastball, right? 2 home runs, the double from Stanton. So I thought they attacked the fastball really well. It's a pretty good game plan there. However, what I would also say, and something that potentially is concerning going to the postseason, is that the Yankees can be quite susceptible, and can be a little bit vulnerable to lefty specialist relievers. What we're seeing is teams bringing in lefty specialist relievers, and there's a lot of lefties in that lineup, so you can kind of those lefty specialists can really make an impact. And I hope that the Yankees can use some of their pinch hitters, use some of their righty pinch hitters to negate some of that, because it seems that the Yankees may potentially be vulnerable to those lefty specialist relievers. But overall, a decent game plan by the Yankees, and a decent day offensively. Also, a few good stolen bases, putting the pressure back on the defense, and putting the ball in play pretty well today, forcing the Red Sox to make a few mistakes in the field. So I'll just briefly talk a little bit about the Red Sox now. Kutter Crawford, 6 hits, 4 earned runs. He's a solid pitcher. That's what I'd say about Kutter. Has a good variety of pitches, throws a good amount of strikes. However, his fastball got hammered today, and so he actually made a nice adjustment after that Judge home run, throwing a lot more off-speed pitches, really going away from that fastball, because the Yankees clearly seem to be sort of ambushing that fastball, seem to be really sitting on that fastball. So I think he can be a guy that the high 3 ERA can be an effective pitcher and eat up innings pretty effectively, but it didn't quite execute today, I think, overall. For the Red Sox, Guerrero, extremely impressive actually. That slider looks really good. Fastball looks excellent. Control looks pretty good. Again, with that type of relievers, the question is, can he be consistent throughout a long season? Can he have some form of consistency? That's yet to, I don't know about that yet. We have yet to see that. Or enough. We don't quite have enough evidence to be able to make a judgment about that. But very impressive stuff, and I think the Red Sox should be very pleased going forward and be very encouraged going forward. For the Red Sox, I thought Devers, he's always very impressive. One of the most impressive fastball hitters I've seen in a long time, I think. One of the most impressive fastball hitters in the league, really. I think that's why Cole can find him. Cole struggles against him so much because it's very, very difficult to beat him with just hard stuff, hard four-seamers, because he catches up to nearly everything. Remember Devers homering off of Aroldis Chapman's 103, lefty 103 to Yankee Stadium to left center field. That's unbelievably impressive, and I think that tells you a lot of the talent that he has. O'Neill also 31 home runs, actually. Very impressive for Tyler O'Neill. Only 61 RBIs. So maybe his teammates can get on base in front of him a little bit more. But very impressive from Tyler O'Neill. 98 miles an hour. Took that 98 mile an hour fastball out of the ballpark. He had that really good at bat off Rodon, fouling off a lot of pitches, timing up the fastball. Very impressive. For O'Neill, he's put together a really, really good season. But I think the Red Sox, compared to when we played them a month ago, when the Yankees were struggling a month and a half ago, I think definitely look like a team that has a bit of has lost some momentum, has definitely lost some steam, and I think they're kind of running on fumes here. But overall, a good game for the Yankees. Not quite the offensive explosion you'd like to see. Haven't scored that many runs recently, but some positive signs going forward. You're seeing Judge start to swing the bat better. I think Stanton's looking a little bit better. Torres looks pretty good. So a lot of positive signs for the Yankees going forward. But thank you for watching this video if you made it this far. Please share any thoughts, opinions, feedback, suggestions you have in the comments section below. And have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.